Heathrow Airport, one of the busiest in the world, was shut down today after a huge fire at a nearby electrical substation wiped out its power. Flight schedules around the world have been disrupted and thousands of passengers affected. In a statement, the airport announced it can safely restart flights this evening and hopes to operate a full schedule tomorrow.
It was around 11:20 last night when London Fire Brigade were first alerted to this blaze at an electrical substation around 2 kilometres from Heathrow Airport. Over the course of the night into the early hours, firefighters battled to contain it.
The fire involved a transformer comprising of 25,000 litres of cooling oil fully alight. This created a major hazard due to the still live high voltage equipment and the nature of the oil-fuelled fire.
The travel chaos that the fire caused, however, was significant. Over 1,300 flights were cancelled as Heathrow Airport was shut for the day.
If I can't get back tomorrow, I'm going to miss a funeral. So
I feel like there's no support, there's no help or anything, and I'm just wandering around.
Absolute chaos, yeah. And it says that T5's open online, but and yet I'm I don't know, very confusing, isn't it?
70 flights between the UK and Ireland were impacted too. The shutdown has led to many questions around how one fire at one substation could cause Europe's busiest airport to shut.
We've been in touch with the government and with National Grid and others as well, because clearly there'll be lessons that need to be learned, and I'm sure they'll be learned in due course.
This afternoon, by statement, Heathrow Airport announced that it was able to safely restart flights, prioritising repatriation and relocation of aircraft. It hopes to operate a full schedule tomorrow. However, airlines are warning of disruption over the weekend.
This incident will have a substantial impact on our airline and customers for many days to come, with disruption to journeys expected over the coming days.
So while there will be huge relief that Heathrow is slowly returning to normal service, questions around the resilience of the airport are only starting. Tommy Meskel, RTE News, London.
Dozens of flights between Ireland and Heathrow scheduled for today were cancelled due to the power outage, while a number of transatlantic services were also forced to divert to Shannon Airport.
The Dublin to Heathrow airline route is the second busiest in Europe, but today those flights were grounded amid the knock-on effects of the Heathrow disruption. The plans of early morning arrivals at Dublin Airport were left in disarray.
We're going for a hotel for the night, and we're hoping to get a flight early in the morning. All 27 of us.
We're a little stressed because, we have to get back to work.
Coming up from Waterford, found out about a half hour before I got to the airport that everything was Heathrow was cancelled.
We got rebooked, but not until Monday. And I'm supposed to work tomorrow, so we'll see.
Where?
I'm a firefighter in Florida.
We can't even open British Airways app. The wait to talk to somebody is an hour on the phone.
Between Dublin and Cork airports, 42 flights scheduled for today were cancelled.
Both Dublin and Cork, the Heathrow route is the busiest for each airport, so it has caused disruption here. In Dublin, about 6,000 passengers a day fly between Dublin and Heathrow. That's 17 flights in each direction, and in Cork there's 4 flights in each direction, so there is an impact for passengers flying that route.
5,500 Aer Lingus passengers were among the flight cancellations to and from Dublin, Cork, Shannon and Ireland West airports.
The options we've provided to our customers are firstly a refund, secondly we've allowed them to change their flight without a change fee applying, and thirdly, if they have an absolute need, imminent need to travel, we're looking to reaccommodate them.
Heathrow-bound transatlantic flights were also affected. 6 services from North America were diverted to Shannon Airport, but the passengers were remaining upbeat.
I expect to be in London. Because we're on a trip, we're going to miss our tour that we started on tonight, but that ain't happening.
All the planes got diverted. Nothing's going to happen in Heathrow until maybe later on today. So we're stopping here. Everyone was pretty chill. No one was freaking out or anything.
So the airport looks nice. This is my first time here, so excited that I've been airline first time. So,
as passengers tried to make alternative arrangements to reroute to London, Ryanair this morning announced what it described as 8 rescue flights between Dublin and London Stansted for today and for tomorrow.
Well, Fergal joins us now from Dublin Airport, while our London correspondent Tommy Meskel is at Heathrow. And Tommy, good news this evening, but it is going to take some time to get back to normal.
It's going to take a number of hours, David. The immediate focus will be on relocating and repatriating aircraft, and then the airport hopes to fully reopen tomorrow. In the past few minutes, we have actually seen a plane moving on the tarmac here, which is the first time this has happened so far today, so a welcome sight for passengers. The CEO of Heathrow Airport has also been speaking in the past few minutes, and he put on a brave defence of what happened here today. He apologised to passengers, but he said that the closure was due to factors beyond the airport's control. He said that the loss of power was the equivalent of a mid-sized city losing power. It's not yet known what caused the fire at the substation just 2 kilometres away from here. Investigations continue. London's Metropolitan Police put out a statement earlier today, and they said that foul play was not suspected, but they are keeping an open mind. The counter-terrorism unit is leading the investigation. The reason for that is due to the level of resources that are required. While many people will be breathing a huge sigh of relief, David, that this airport is slowly starting to return to normal service, there will be so many questions. How can one fire at one substation cause the closure of such a major airport, Europe's busiest? And it is not a good look for Heathrow Airport as it looks to increase its capacity and build a third runway over the coming years. And
Fergal, what's the impact here been like, and what's it likely to be like over the next couple of days?
Well, David, there are around 70 cancellations from airports across the island to and from Heathrow today. Dublin Airport here bearing the brunt of that disruption caused by the issues at the airport, with 34 Aer Lingus and British Airways flights being cancelled, as we heard in my report, impacting around 6,000 people. Now, many of those intending passengers had already arrived here at the airport this morning or were en route when they got word of those cancellations. Most were en route to London itself, but others were US bound, connecting through Heathrow Airport. So as you can imagine, it was a very busy morning here at the airport, with many people looking frustrated and stressed as they tried to make alternative arrangements. Now, despite the cancellations at Heathrow, the airport here itself is actually operating very smoothly today, as other routes were unaffected by that disruption. Now, Aer Lingus, which had to cancel around 34 flights to and from Irish airports, has described the issues at Heathrow as very frustrating and also very disruptive. Now, by lunchtime today, the airline said around 1,000 of the 5,500 passengers impacted had applied for a refund as part of the options that it was offering. Now, given the update this evening from Heathrow, in the last short while, Aer Lingus said that it is planning to operate a full schedule to and from Heathrow tomorrow. Now, DAA, the operators of the airport here and in Cork, is continuing though to advise intending passengers, whether just going to Heathrow or getting connecting flights through Heathrow, to continue to check the status of their flights before arriving here at Dublin Airport and Cork Airport. Ryanair was not impacted today by the disruptions, as it doesn't fly into Heathrow Airport. David.
OK, Fergal O'Brien, Tommy Meskel, thanks for that. Now, as we've been hearing, the closure of Heathrow Airport has caused travel chaos here and in Britain. We're joined by Claire Dunn, CEO of the Irish Travel Agents Association. Thanks a million for joining us, Claire. I'm going to take a wild guess and suggest that you might have had quite a busy day.
Bit of a busy day. Started off, very early this morning when I heard this news, and we were talking to members around the country then. Everybody was straight to their desks trying to rebook and reroute people all over the place. So, busy day.
How has that gone?
Gone very well, actually. I've just
because I'm a bit surprised to hear that.
No, I checked with members there just before I came out, and they were saying that by and large they've managed to rebook people, everybody that they had on their books to travel. They've rebooked them either to other places today, other airports today, or else tomorrow or over the weekend. They've managed to change plans for people. The complications arise when you've got connecting flights, or you've got accommodation as well. So that's where the travel agents really come into their own and help you with that. OK, you've got the ad in, so well done. We'll come back to that in a minute, but just in terms of the immediate situation, so as we saw from Tommy Meskel earlier on, planes are starting to move in Heathrow. They're not presumably transporting passengers at the moment. They're trying to get into position for tomorrow. Yeah, but BA are planning to operate flights tonight. I saw they've Joburg, Singapore, a couple of other places, 6 or 7 that they're planning to go tonight. And I was just looking at the sites there just before we started talking, and Aer Lingus and BA have on-time schedules for tomorrow. that's the way they hoped it to go tomorrow. Now, there will be problems with aircraft, as we heard earlier on, possibly crew out of hours as well. But they are working really hard to try and get that in place so that they will be able to resume schedules tomorrow.
But even if they've run a full schedule tomorrow, most of those planes are fully booked. So the problem is for the people who missed their flight today.
Exactly.
All right, so how do they get sorted?
So, as I say, a lot of them have rebooked. Some of them have opted for a refund. So if they got a refund, some of them then rebooked themselves other routes completely. And that's fine. If they were stuck at an airport, they are entitled to care and assistance, it's called. So either meals, access to telephone calls. Most people have their own phones now, but just in case. And then if they need hotel accommodation. Now, in some cases, the airlines were booking hotel accommodation for them. But as you can imagine, in a case like this, there's so many people, some people had to book their own hotel accommodation. If that's the case, you're expected to book something reasonable. You're not expected to go 5-star, top of the range, but you have to, be reasonable, book something and keep your receipts.
OK, keep your receipts. That's
really
obviously be the key point. But the problem for some people, I think, is if they're in the Heathrow area, there might not be reasonable hotel accommodation
Absolutely.
available.
And I think all you can do in that case is book what you can book, and then just, take pictures, take screenshots of what you're booking. The airlines will realise, they will also be aware that some of the hotels have really increased their prices. So keep the receipts and to be able to prove what you had to do.
I suppose one of the aspects of this is it's not actually the fault of the airline per se. It's the fault, well, it's not even the fault of Heathrow, it's the fault of the electricity provider, I suppose. So who ends up being ultimately responsible for paying, well, it's not compensation, but
so it
making
depends,
redress?
If you reroute, the airlines are rerouting or refunding. So that's their obligation, to reroute or refund, and to offer care and assistance depending on the circumstances. So absolutely that will be the case. If you've booked independently and you have a hotel booking, that's up to yourself. It may be covered in your travel insurance. Really important when you're taking out travel insurance at the time of booking to make sure you have travel disruption cover on that. Because the one thing we do know is that there'll be something else on the horizon. We didn't expect this today. We'll know there'll be some other disruption in line, you know what I mean?
Now, we saw a lot of passengers earlier on frustrated, obviously, at what was happening, frustrated at lack of information. In fairness to the airlines, A, they were probably overwhelmed, but B, until they knew what was happening at Heathrow, there wasn't much they could say.
There wasn't really much they could say. The online change facilities for most of the airlines worked actually really well. And they gave free changes, obviously. You didn't have to pay a change fee. And if your new flight cost more, they had arranged then that you can claim that back. So there's a fair difference sometimes if you change your date, but you can claim that back as well.
Finally, I suppose the one question, and Tommy Mescal was referring to it earlier, the one question is, it seems extraordinary that a fire at one facility could cause so much chaos.
I'd say there'll be lots of changes made as a result of that. It does seem really, strange, but that's the situation we woke up to this morning. So we just had to get on with it and deal with it. OK, well, hopefully you don't have a similar situation tomorrow. Claire Dunn, Chief Executive of the Irish Travel Agents Association. Thanks for joining us on 6 O'Clock.